So let's get this out the way.
Do your thing.
Big thing happened. Big tings. Big tings. Let's go.
Now that his mic's off, how was your week, Mimi?
It was great. You know, this was
what?
nice.
No, sorry. I'm not gonna step on it. I'm not gonna step on it.
No, you're good. Just had to.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
You just had to revel in your moment.
This is some real hated shit, right? So I was at Safeway. I had my Raycons in, cool.
Hold on. Again? No. Or is this before? Before?
No. This is like the new story. Like this is Tuesday.
Oh.
So I'm sorry if the most interesting part of the story isn't what I think it is, but you got another pair of Raycons?
Yeah, I have the red ones. I got them for Christmas. Shut up.
Okay. All right. That's
so
cool.
yeah. So yeah, I had they're on the table. They're the red ones. Yeah. So I had my red Raycons in. I was cooling. I had my Georgia swag on. Some dude says something like, "Did you buy that last night?" I'm like, "Fuck," because I got the groceries in. I had my groceries in. I was like, "What is he talking about?" And so I took my Raycon. I was like, "What?" He's like, "Did you buy that last night?" I was like, what is he talking about? He's like,
aggressive ass.
He's like, your sweatshirt. Did you buy that last night? And it was like, and got it. Oh, like that's like the stupidest. Like,
yeah, like where would you have gotten that jump after the game?
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so all I could do was take it as hate because the game ended at 11:30, and I don't know if Amazon does like air drone.
Was there like a special promotion or something where they was doing drone drops for Georgia gear last night?
Like, I was like, and if I was going to get a Georgia hoodie, why would I get a national championship Georgia hoodie?
Yeah, exactly. You just going to get a regular one?
So that's why I said the more you thought about it, it was just hate.
Oh, well, yeah.
But then I was like, why are you hating? There's no need to hate. It would be like, we hadn't won since 1980. If I was Alabama and I was being a hype beast like that would make sense. I was like, bro, are you a Virginia Tech fan? Like, what are you even like?
Damn, yo.
I was like, what are you, a Vi Tech fan? Like, what are you?
Hey, man, shout out Virginia Tech, yo. My cousin's the head basketball coach over there now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yo.
Wow.
Oh, shit.
Shout out DeMatha Stags.
Hey.
Very, very prestigious school where we're around.
Like, I'm all for team loyalty and, throwing shade from time to time. But, like, if you're throwing shade but the shit is stupid, like, just don't.
Dog.
Just
I
don't.
was like, why
just
am I
don't.
Get it overnighted? Like, it's and the time of day where it was said it was like 11 a.m. So I wouldn't have been able to get it.
No, like if the fastest they would have been able to get it to you, it would have been like, oh, you would have got a notification on your phone around 11 a.m. Your package is on the way. It'll be here between 1:30 and 5:30.
I was like, there's a supply chain.
Fastest.
I was like, there's a supply chain problem around here,
also
bro.
That.
Yeah,
also
I was
that.
like,
do you not see all the milk missing off the shelf right here?
Right. It's like we are all once again out of toilet paper. What the hell do you think I'm going to be getting this in less than 24 hours?
It was like those people that say, it must be nice, huh? Like, it was.
Oh my God, I hate that shit, yo.
That shit. It's like, it must be nice.
I hate when people do that. Like when you try to like, you're happy about something you did or accomplished or got, and like you start talking about it, some motherfucker like,
must be
nice. Like, yeah, it is nice. That's what I'm telling you.
Yeah, and like you can't be happy about what you've done.
No, because some people's only mode is salty.
Yeah.
Like all the time.
Yeah.
No, like I said before, the podcast. If everybody, you will no longer see my head.
Come on.
What will happen is that I will always have a hat on.
He will have his Jules wig on.
I did dress up as Jules for Halloween one year, but I was because I've noticed like my head. I have a big head. Okay, it's
yes,
true.
You do.
Please do.
Hey, what size fit did you wear?
7 3/4.
Damn.
Yeah.
Like bald headed.
Yeah.
Damn.
I mean, I've been that for a while. I mean, I
do got
lost
a
my
big
hair
head.
a long time ago.
How come you ain't get none of the big head jokes? And there was like somebody else that caught all of them. All the smoke.
He was
You
like
just sitting
Jupiter.
there.
He was Jupiter, and I was Saturn. So like,
It was like, I mean,
I
of course,
was
if you see
there.
the two, you're going to go
Yeah,
to Jupiter.
first. Yeah,
Okay.
It
Aw.
was so cool. I was like, oh yes. Because like no one ever said anything about my head,
Yeah.
but it's big, but it's like it's not as big as it is on YouTube. For some reason, like the YouTube makes it seem
Don't
like
stretch it out, look like an alien.
yeah. I got the Neo, so I just want to make sure that I keep it covered.
And
make
see,
sure
I
it's
must
good.
be the only one in the group that has never noticed. I had no
I mean,
idea.
look, here's a lesson in photography, right? And video and stuff like that. Most camera lenses, if you look at them, they're like shaped like a
Like a human eye.
yeah, exactly, like a lens. You know what I mean? So a lot of times when the final image comes out, there's some distortion on the sides from like that image kind of falling off. No lens is really like got it completely flat on the sides. So when we shoot, since it's kind of tight and your head's all the way at the side of the screen, it's going to stretch that down out a little bit. So yeah, when you turn your head, you're going to look like alien and shit a little bit.
Yeah.
It's going to make it look way like longer. You know, I'm not going to continue that sentence.
Yeah,
I thought your head
That's
looked
why.
fine.
That's why like her Hey Arnold thing is very apropos.
Yeah,
because-
I F's with that.
And then
This is actually my husband's.
Nice.
sweet.
I stole it from him.
Could you intro us, Mimi?
I sure can. Welcome, everybody, to the Two Guys and a Girl podcast. I am host, not numero uno, but the first one to talk, Mimi. To my right is our Georgia fan here, our shining star today, Big J, and the esteemed Wally B.
And welcome to episode 2, season 2 of the show.
That sounds so nice.
That intro was dope.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. Spicy, yes.
Spicy. I might have to replace that picture of Mimi in that joint, but you know, we'll figure something out.
Well, it's not like you have a whole bunch of solo stuff of Mimi. Like, I was
I know,
like,
right?
where'd you dig that up from?
I got that one
From
like
literally last year, from
Yeah.
the one time we took pictures.
she
That's
posed
true.
like she was walking around like, you know, her middle school or high school, and somebody came and was like, take a picture for the yearbook.
So she posed, but she posed like in a surprise way. She posed like, oh my God, photo.
I have to do something.
Yeah.
Oh, why did I do that?
What do I do with my hands?
I don't know what to do with my hands. Where
Yes.
do they go?
Yeah.
I can't help it. I'm sorry. This guy. Oh my God.
Oh, whoa.
I don't know. Okay.
I'm awkward with pictures. I'm sorry. It's not my thing. I will try to be better in the future.
Got my mic all standing at attention. Okay.
Okay.
Oh. Anyways.
That's like the second week in a row, brother, man. First you was just looking for the Wally on TikTok, and now I got your mic standing at attention.
Well, whenever you did the whole thing, it was like it knocked my cord up.
You knocked me off of my feet now, baby.
Okay.
Oh, it's so nice. So nice.
So I think like the first topic, me and Mimi were talking about this off mic. We were talking about you have women.
By the way, before we start, I don't know what the fuck we talk about this week, so this is gonna be fun
Follow the lead, baby.
for
It's right.
everybody.
We're just gonna just tuck in. It's gonna be fun.
You know, we had a whole time where we talked. We just didn't know. Like we're gonna have to do show prep. That was
yeah,
Yeah.
we were good with it last
Yeah, we were. We
last
got,
season,
like-
and now we're just like,
Yeah,
what do you
we're
want to
just
talk
like-
about this week?
No, because that was super funny because you came on time and we didn't actually do show
Y'all was
prep.
chilling. Y'all wasn't here chilling.
Yeah, we did no show prep. My bad. That was on me. That was on me. No, you're right. That's a good call out. But no,
Can you start your question over?
yes, okay, I will start my question over.
Yeah.
So, all right, me and Mimi were talking off mic, and we were talking about women that are like. So, there was a situation where I saw somebody, a woman that I hadn't seen in a little while, and I was like, "Oh, how you been?"
Oh, okay.
And
Okay. All
yeah,
right.
and we were like, how you been? Like, how's life going? You know, I wanted to catch up, whatever. And she's like, yeah, things are great. Oh my God, I have this new guy in my life. He treats me so well, and he's so sweet and considerate. Which is, I know a lot of people will be like, oh yeah, that's cool. But like, in my head, I asked her how she was doing, and she then said good, and then she immediately pivoted to like what the guy was doing. And then I was telling Mimi, I was like, well, if she didn't have the guy in her life, would she be doing good? Like, I was, it was more of like 20 minutes into the conversation, if she brought up her guy, that would make sense to me. But like when I first asked you, it was like, that was sort of like the bar, whether she was doing good or not, whether she had a guy in her life and whether the guy was treating her well. And I just thought that wasn't like the best way of doing the barometer there as to like mental health and what's going on with you. Like that could be a part of what's going on, but that shouldn't be like the second thing out of your mouth. And I was like, it was just like weird. I was like, man, am I not doing okay? Do I need a man in my life? Like it was like, because she said it so matter of factly. I was just like, am I feel weird? So I was going to open this up to you, Mimi. Like, how do you feel about that? You were married, happily married.
I am, yes.
How would you have answered the question that way?
No, not at all. Because you asked me how I was doing. But at the same time, you also have to understand that the person in question is still quite young and is in a time in their life when many times their identity is tied, not specifically that person, but a lot of people in that age group are very much tied to outside things. Like their identities lie in other things and not so much their own central self, because they don't know what that they don't know what it is yet. They still have no idea like what that is, to be a whole, complete, realized person outside of any other person or thing. Like I know who I am because I've gone through like all of the age and the experience and all the stuff to kind of figure out who I am, what I like, what I'm capable of, blah blah blah. And a lot of young people rely so heavily upon it, like relationships. Like, what is my boyfriend or my girlfriend doing? Are they happy? Does that, because if they're happy, that means I'm happy, and if they're doing things they like, that means I'm liking what they're doing, which means I like those things or whatever. And this person in particular, like I don't want to do any identity thing.
Because you said that also you said something profound off, like you were like, some people that young only see themselves through the lenses of others.
Yeah. Like some people only can identify themselves by other people in their life giving them an identity. Like
Shit like that is why I thought I couldn't make music on my own for so long. It's like I didn't see any example of that, so I figured that probably can't do that shit.
Yeah. And so for people like her in particular, it's I don't know what I am or who I am outside of what other people perceive me as. And so I need other people in my life to give me a kind of a North Star, so to speak, to kind of give me a sense of, okay, well, this person says they like me for this thing, and this thing. So that for now seems to be what I am. That's my identity. So that's why a lot of times I just shake my head with like really young people who are like, I'm so in love, I found my soulmate, they just get me, blah 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 blah. And it's like you don't even know who you are. How is some other person gonna get you if you don't even get you?
And then there was also a situation where I was telling Mimi, I was like, what gets on my nerves is also like the person, and I know I'm not in a relationship, so that's why I threw it over to two people who are in one, is like, because I don't want this to become like a bash people relationship thing, but like the person that always says, oh my God, my boyfriend this, oh my God, Chad smiled yesterday, and then I smiled, and everything was lovely. And it's like, if you had to constantly bring up your partner, even when your partner really wasn't the conversational thing, like that's annoying as hell, because it's like you're playing a drinking game, and it's like, if I get drunk at the end of the conversation because of how many times you bring up your significant other, and they're not like relevant to anything that we're talking about.
They could be in that like
honeymoon phase.
Yeah, where like everything, that's all you be thinking about. You know what I'm saying?
The
so,
rose-colored glasses are on.
It ends up in conversation just because that's what's always floating around your head. I mean, that could be part of it. I don't know.
And again, like you and I both know how very young and new this relationship is for this person.
No, and
the
that's
honeymoon phase is still strong with that one.
I'm saying in general, I've noticed that with other people where they have to bring up their significant other too, which I think isn't necessarily the healthiest thing. Like you said, sometimes at the very beginning, that's a thing.
Yeah.
But like,
or if your person's doing something like a project and you're proud of it and you want to talk about it, that's something else too.
Or y'all just riding like a relationship high right now, like shit been going real well and y'all been doing a lot of fun stuff and really enjoying each other, and that feeling just came back or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never.
I was going to ask you though, like, how do you know this person?
I used to. Well, I can't go into too much detail because, that's an actual person.
I mean, yeah, okay. So,
Yeah,
like,
you know
but,
what I
like,
mean?
you like y'all were in some way kind of involved or try to be or some shit.
No.
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 Oh, okay, never mind.
Because I too know this person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
I mean-
I just didn't want to because 99% of the time when I'm talking about a story, it's an actual thing that happened.
Yeah.
It's just not really hypothetical. So most I wanted to say about them is that they're young, like in their early 20s.
Oh, okay. Never
So,
mind.
yeah.
My thinking was that, like, sometimes I don't know how often it happens, but like if that's you in that situation and she started talking about her boyfriend immediately and y'all used to like have some kind of thing.
Oh,
It's like,
I
yo,
see, yeah.
it's like if I'm immediately putting up a wall, like it is nice to see you, but let me put this wall up right quick so we know where shit stands.
Yeah, and
But that's not the case. So.
and but you're right. That is a tactic that a lot of women use, or people, but a lot of women do some kind of way for safety.
Yeah, like.
But
you
it's a
gotta
boundary,
let
like,
people
oh,
know what it
hey,
is.
let me tell you about how I have a person now. So if you're trying to talk to me to try and like hook up with me or reconnect with me, it's not gonna happen
Do you
like
guys
that.
double back?
What?
Will you double back?
What do you mean?
So like if you were in a relationship with someone and you guys broke up and you see them later, be like trying to rekindle that old flame. Do you guys double back like that, or would you be willing? I mean, because I find now, like, if we tried to make it work once, there are reasons why it was like didn't go right,
Right.
and those reasons probably still exist now, or there's going to be different ones.
Right. The only reason I think anyone would be able to successfully double back is because some serious growth and change happened either with one party or both. So even though you two may have been these people back in the past with this relationship, if you have both evolved and are two essentially completely different people now, that might be the one and only time where doubling back may actually work. But a lot of times if it's just, hey, we had fun and you're familiar and I know what to expect with you and blah, 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 it's still toxic and it's still not a good idea. I find no need to double back.
No, doubling back. So you good over there, Wally?
But yeah, so just getting his water. It's fine.
Oh,
He's fine. He's fine.
Y'all are terrible. Yo. Y'all are absolutely terrible.
At first, I thought you were. I don't know why, but for a second, when I first
you
glanced
turned
at
into
you,
Jacques
I thought
Cousteau,
you were
and I was
dancing.
like-
I thought you were getting up and doing like a little dance, and I was confused for a second because I saw you doing this, but then you also started shaking your hips, and I was like,
Oh,
"Is
yeah,
he?
okay.
Is
All
he?
right, all right,
What's he
all right.
doing?" Anyways, but yeah, no. I hope the best for that person because they are a sweet soul and they really deserve to be in a good, healthy.
or people who feel that way. Because like I said, she's not unique in that.
No,
So,
she's
yeah,
not
so
unique
that's
in
why I
that way.
didn't
But
wanna-
as far as
yeah.
like someone who we know,
Mhm.
no one should ever settle, and no one should ever just be okay with identifying themselves through other people. Like there's nothing wrong with learning who you are as an individual away from the influences of others. Like learning to be
Probably the preferred method.
learning
You
to
know
be
what I'm
who
saying?
you are and being comfortable being by yourself is I think is a very vital life skill because one important thing is it teaches you that you are worth more than what other people may put on you.
Yeah, look, most of the people. I guess we can talk specifically about this country because it's different from country to country. But most of this population is extroverted.
Yeah, a lot of
And
us
in
are.
general, extroverted people sitting alone with their thoughts, that's not like something that's usually fun for them.
No, and that's hard, but at least I guess what I mean by that is
It's something that a lot of people have to work on,
Yeah.
like, more than we probably,
and I think what I meant by that was like realizing what your worth is and being comfortable in the sense of I still have value even if I'm not coupled with somebody.
Yeah,
Because a lot of people don't believe that. A lot of people think, well, I need to find my person and then that will increase my worth or it will solidify my worth because I have a person. And
it's really the
Well, all
other way
those
around,
eHarmony commercials and stuff don't really help. It's
no,
like,
the Plenty of
yeah,
Fish, the
yeah,
eHarmonies,
it's
like the
yeah,
find
the-
your person. There's someone out there, special out there, is
This
waiting for
will
you.
be And never laugh.
Not bashing dating sites.
Yeah.
Oh my
That's
God.
not what we're doing. But, you know, I think the idea, especially for a lot of young people, impressionable people, is learning to be cool with you
Yeah.
in the sense of knowing that you are worthy as an individual, fully formed and realized human being without having to feel fulfilled by someone else. Fulfill yourself, and then you as a fully formed person will be a benefit to someone else. Never seek to complete another person. I fully commit to the idea that you should not be someone else's 50%. You should be at 100% on your own and enhance other people's lives, not complete their lives. Because we've fallen into that rom-com
Why'd you
trap
make me
of
think of Gwen Stefani just right there.
Ain't
this
But I mean that's essentially like, if I guess to end my section of the TED Talk, like, you know, when we still are, I think there are remnants of us clinging to this like 90s rom-com idea of my other half is out there,
Yeah.
and I will find them and I will be whole and happy and at peace. And it's like, no, your full self is already with you. It's just you have to figure out who that person is.
Shout out to all the movies and TV shows that have been coming out lately with male-female friendships instead of romantic partnerships as the main
Exactly.
the main dramatic part of the series. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Guys and
shout
girls
out-
can be friends.
Shout out to the, I'm sure it wasn't going to happen anyway, but shout out for them not making like Hawkeye creepy towards Kate Bishop at any point,
Right.
stuff like that. Or like that little, I don't know if anybody's seen the Bumblebee movie. It's more for like a younger audience, but I watched that joint.
Transformers?
Yeah, it was just about Bumblebee like back in the day.
Oh, I never watched Bumblebee's movie.
I never saw that either.
Matter of fact, that was the same girl in Hawk who plays Kate Bishop was the lead in that movie. But she had it was like a little friend, a friend she had across the street, this boy or whatever, and like the whole thing was like their friendship, and they even had a part in there where like the boy and girl are friends, and then the boy almost messes it up, but she like stops him, and then he realized like, oh yeah, okay, this is like cool, we friends.
Well,
shout out to all them TV shows and movies.
And honestly, a great male-female relationship that's not sexually based is Hawkeye and
you.
Black
Oh,
Widow.
Sorry.
Oh yeah.
And me and Big J. And me and Big J is also
That's not where she was going with
no. Hawkeye and Black. Anyway,
No, but you did all the it fit, so it did all the prerequisites.
That's what she
good
said.
job. Hey. Anyway,
What was the Mimi was going to give us more going to discuss what sundown towns were.
Oh,
it's
Lord.
quite the segue.
Jesus.
Well, I mean, I have
Because I know I saw that you did one of your infamous and world famous TikTok videos about it, but I wondered how many people knew and kind of
what a sundown town is.
yeah, and kind of had an idea about what that's about. And
Well, just for reference, like literally up until a few months ago, I had no idea what a sundown town was either. I'd never heard of that phrase in my life.
have you, Wally?
Yeah.
You know what they are?
Yeah, you know why? Because half my family from out there, where your family is, and there wasn't a lot of black people, so they did experience a whole lot of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like not even that far away from here. So yeah.
No, that like in a few of the surround, like really, really close nearby, even here in Northern Virginia, there are some places that not necessarily current day are labeled them, but historically were identified as a sundown town. But for reference, for anyone who's never heard of that phrase before, it essentially is just it's a place. Sometimes it could be a very small town. It could be a very just a little suburb, but it was basically a community that was predominantly all white, and it was understood that if you were of color, you weren't welcome to move there to live, or B, once the sun went down, it was not safe for you to be there, either to stop to get gas or go into a restaurant, or hell, even sometimes just to be on the side of the road changing your tire. And they're widespread. They're all over the United States. And I don't know about, Canada and other places. I can just speak for the U.S. But they are things that certain communities know about but don't talk about. And they are things that other communities have no real cognitive awareness of them at all. It's just kind of like, oh yeah, I guess I've never really noticed that people of color don't really live here, and I don't really know why.
You could have that one same city. Black people could think of it as like they label it a sundown town, but the white folks that live in that city just think of it as we're a town that doesn't like trouble after dark, and that's what the general consensus is. But like, you know what that means.
Yeah.
It's just that people don't talk about it like that. So when somebody brings it up about you and your town, you're like, what? No.
Yeah. And see, because I've never lived in one, and I have never experienced anything like, because I've always lived in a place where there's been a mix of people. So
can you let's not to interrupt you.
Yeah, no.
But do you think that, and here's where the intersection of well-intention and ignorance come into play. Like, if you, let's say a lot of this country, there's a reason why they say minority is because it's not a majority.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in the majority standpoint, wouldn't that be a thing that you wouldn't notice just because of just what the country looks like in general? Like, if you say
that's kind of what I was getting at.
Like, you wouldn't be.
It doesn't mean that
there's nothing sinister with
it's not malicious.
Other than what you say, the thought process of not only are there not people here that are minorities, but like, it's not encouraged that they're here. Like, we don't want, that's the sinister part. But but the part that, because not everybody feels that.
Because like the thing is, like, a general consensus in a lot of these places is that most of these people actually do feel that way. But I mean, first off, ain't nobody gonna say it out loud, and second off, like I said, they've got to like put it behind the guise of something else. It's always a big story. Like, I remember back in the 90s, they were talking about some town in Texas on Oprah where the white people there are pretty much like, we don't want anybody else living here. Like, they were saying it straight up, and that was such a big thing because they were doing it. But in most cases, you have a town that was, like I said, they won't straight up kick black people out, but, they have a sundown rule.
And
where,
you get
like,
a lot of roadblocks to not live there.
Yeah, it's like not exactly like a hard in place rule. It's just like a general mindset that says, like, this is our town. You passing through here happens, but like at a certain point, we locking this shit down, and something may happen to you. That's like the most anybody will say.
Mm-hmm.
So, just to make this conversation a little bit more, like a little well-rounded. So, like, if you're talking about a lot of crime and such like that, I mean, crime can take place at any time.
Yeah, and we've seen that in the news prolifically these last few years.
But I find it, and this is specific to our community, Wally. I feel like there's a disconnect between, we can all hear that and say, that's terrible, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then some of the music we champion, some people in our community champion, like, there's some ignorant stuff going on online. There was like a number one trending topic of this person talking about this other person that died and all the rest of this stuff. It's like some of the stuff that we champion within our own community. And I'm not doing a all lives matter and Black Lives Matter kind of thing. Yeah. It's just perception, because I think perception and reality are two different things.
Yes, they are.
But people oftentimes assume that they are the same.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're championing or if you're behind music that's violent and talking about how you're going to slide on the ops and all the rest of that stuff, and then people then use that as an excuse to be like, well, I don't want that element in my neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that that's wrong or right or any of that. I'm just posing a question to you that if you encourage that music and you're not about also having the conscious stuff and having the things that are more uplifting, you create a perception, because in some of that music is popular music. Though some of that music is going to be number one charting albums.
Yeah.
So if you're going to have that, it's hard to then tell people, well, this is what's going on out there. You guys are talking about it. You're saying this stuff is real. Why would I want that in my town?
Mm.
Yeah.
And so how do you feel about that?
I feel like the perception is usually that will happen. You know what I mean? These musicians who make this music about this stuff, You know what I mean? People in their towns become fans of it. They do shows in their towns, and they the perception is that they gonna bring all that stuff right along with it and like destroy stuff, and they don't want it, right? The reality is, most of these artists that are that big aren't as closely involved with any of that stuff enough to bring it to your fucking town and have it stick. That's the reality. So like, to people who like, you know, there's been throughout time, you know, people calling out against like musicians because of something they did or do or did in the music video or whatever. It used to happen to rappers a lot back in the 90s.
See the Lord
it's
Sucker,
just it's restrictive artistically. Like, you can't expect somebody to be an artist and express themselves and then tell them what they can't talk about. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, like, it is what it is. And a lot of these rappers are talking from a place of experience. So it may be stuff that they did. It may be stuff that they doing now. It may be stuff that they never did. The point of the matter is, they making a song, and the song's got to like be a complete song. And, you know, you can talk about what's in it all you want, but until that person like actually like shows any sign of acting on some of that stuff, then, you know, just enjoy the music, yo.
No, I'm not saying, I guess the point is I'm not saying that music shouldn't be made.
Yeah.
It perpetuates the image.
Yeah, I guess what I'm saying is like, back to the perception and reality thing. Like, you know, even though that may be people's perception, the reality is that shit's not gonna happen, yo.
If you portray yourself as a monster, and then there's already a stigmatism about yourself being a monster, and then somebody looks and says, because a lot of when I hear Sundown Town, and I don't know if you guys hear it, I hear fear.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're going to put fear-based stuff in your music, you're going to have fear-based stuff as your imagery. You're going to have tons of guns in your video.
As the artist, you can't be responsible for other people's low awareness on things.
I'm also saying as an artist, you do have like, and the only reason why I say this is like in rap in general, and I'm going to let you go, is like they stop saying certain words.
Yeah.
They're not, so they can police themselves.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like it hasn't happened. They're not saying the F word anymore.
Yeah, not at all. Yeah.
So I'm not saying. So that's the only reason why I'm saying is like they could. They just wouldn't be as commercially appealing.
Not nearly.
But see, that's the part that's a little scary to me. Is that what's commercially appealing is us killing each other.
Yeah, it always has been.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not. But there's other music out there that's not portraying that. And that's what I'm saying. It's not the only. Listen, there's deeply seated racial issues in this country. So chalking it up to one thing is not what I'm trying to do here. But what I am trying to do here is I'm trying to get people to see is that if there's already a super bad negative imagery out there about who we are, and people already see us as one thing, and we're, instead of being a diaspora of people with different thoughts and views and opinions, if we're going to then champion certain people or give light to certain people and then like diminish others who are doing positive stuff, like I'm more about saying, why are we diminishing those who are about the positivity and conscious stuff and doing all the rest of that, like instead of elevating that music back up to like you know, a certain level where it's on par.
Well,
because you could have both.
Yeah, we know a few things, right?
Okay.
You know, speaking specifically about hip hop music, which, you know, it's one of the newer art forms out there, but at this point, it's what, going on 50 years old, maybe?
And it's the most commercially successful
and like,
art
especially right now, like it's had it even bigger, like, you know, hip hop became pop music, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it is right now. So we know that, you know, we know who's fans of hip hop. We know, like, we've got like 40, 50 years of data on it. We also know that, like, since the beginning, rappers were shown in a certain light, and it was usually negative, you know what I'm saying? Like, since the beginning, and that hadn't stopped, right? We also know that there's been tons of hip hop artists who have been amongst the, like, you know, global top 10 lists in terms of like record sales and popularity, you know, for long periods of time, short ones, different people. So we know that. And it's been happening for 40 years. And we also know that there's been no like reported incidents where like a rapper changed the culture in a city or town or anything like that for the worse by them like making their music and having people there be fans of it. So we know all of that.
You talking about like I would only pushback I would say like in Chicago, there is a direct correlation between what you say in a record and people having to, like, if you put energy out there on a record, people have to stand on that.
Yeah, that's more of a like, you know, that is like a more like isolated type. Like just
You know, I'm just saying. I just wanted to be clear.
And
like,
in general, for like majority of these artists out here, like that's especially like the ones that get really really big.
Oh yeah,
is
you're
really
talking
what I'm
about
talking about. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The ones who like really influence culture, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Those people are like usually, you know, they ain't always like far away from all that stuff.
So like
usually,
Drake in Toronto or something like that.
I guess that's a good example. You know what I mean? Like this, you can't say definitively he's, you know, rappers like that ain't around some stuff they may or may not, you know, people might think they shouldn't be.
Mm-hmm.
That was a weird sentence.
Like basically because of him, it's not like cities have burned to the ground because of the
exactly.
music
That's
he's
what I'm
made.
saying. Like we know all these things that I've just been talking about. They're all facts. You know what I mean? We just all know this stuff. So like, there's no real point in being like, the reality is there's no point in being scared of that happening because it isn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like we've got decades on decades of data that shows that shit's not really going to do what you say it's going to do.
Well, and also there's the argument that many people would make that rap wasn't really something that just kind of came out of nowhere. Rap was something that was born as a creative outlet for people who were living in extreme violence, extreme poverty, extreme, you know, places where just the opportunities to succeed and thrive
like hip hop
there.
came out of these like block parties up in
like,
New York where like a DJ was like spinning records and shit, and
like rap wasn't a
making
cause.
a
it was
beat out of it. It was just like
an
a
effect.
party. Everybody just came outside because that's where they live, and like, you know, it wasn't nothing to do but like this right here because that shit jumping. You know what I'm saying? Like people didn't have much. This is New York in the 70s.
Yeah. So it's in a sentence, it would be easy to say like the music didn't make the environment. The environment made the music.
Yeah. It's that people a lot of times like have trouble, you know, taking or assigning accountability in the right way. You know what I mean? Because like a lot of you'll talk about, you know, people might be scared of the, hip hop music influencing the way their kids act in their
not the
town.
music as much as the people.
Yeah, it kind of all goes like hand in hand, I guess, when we talk about that.
We're not seen as different from. We're not given like Tom Cruise is seen as different from Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
We're both black.
Yeah,
and people will see us as a voting block, even though you will vote differently than I will. We're not given the sort of thought process that we're different.
Yeah.
Like there's a hive mind amongst you all.
So we get easily lumped in. So then whenever we have music, and that's the only reason, that's why I use music as like the catalyst for it, is like when we only champion a certain type of music, then people will naturally assume that, okay, all of them are now just aggressive.
Yeah.
And versus even black women get the thought process of, oh, all of them are just aggressive and they're ready to chew your head off. And when it's like, no, that's not true.
Yeah.
But the stuff that people are, the imagery they're seeing on TV, all the things that where you like, that's why Michelle Obama was so threatening to people, because then it showed a different person in a different way that people were very like. Well, that's why she was constantly being attacked.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have to tear that down.
Yes.
Because it hurts the narrative we're trying to push.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Shout out to Meghan Markle.
Right.
So I just
She's
think
another one who's always constantly come under fire.
The Duchess of Montecito. We stand Meghan in my house. Let me tell you.
so
Her
I
and
just,
Harry, yo.
So I just wish that, I guess for me is just I wish that as a community, not that we just discard things that represent us or that we come from, but also champion, because not all of us grew up in the hood.
Yeah.
Not all of us grew up in a situation where we had to be packing heat.
Right.
Some of us grew up in middle class homes like every other person,
Yeah.
and we should all not one story, like just like in movies. If I never see another slave movie, I'm good.
Yeah, for real.
Like, if rich Hollywood elites, you know, if that's how they only can portray us and champion those sort of movies versus championing movies that where we're not enchained and in poverty situations, it's like, why can't we just be doctors and lawyers, yo?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And that's what I mean by like, because that would help the whole sundown town situation.
Yeah, I mean, and it's happening. You know, I watch a lot of TV. It's happening. You know, they're definitely like, people are getting their spots. taking their spots, and like you see a lot of black folks and just people in color in general in these positions or these roles that like, you know, they wouldn't. I think the last like real negative story I heard in that regards is when that show Krypton was on, about like Superman's grandfather and how everything happened before, you know, he ended up going to Earth.
Yeah.
Reggae Jean was supposed to be play his Superman's grandfather, Seg L. He was up for casting, and the creator of the show was like, lead actor can't be a black dude. Like that can't happen. Superman's grandfather can't be this black dude. And then he cast the entire Zod family as Negroes. Like all of them, all of them. They're all black. Like General Zod was a big bald black dude with a beard, you know what I'm saying? His wife was like a real dark-skinned lady with braids and stuff like that. So like shit like that's not happening nearly as often as even just a few years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I found it interesting, like the response that I had made, like from that TikTok video about sundown towns, almost instantly, people started coming to the comment section and naming places.
Yeah.
Almost immediately, like this place in this state, or telling like me how, growing up, I remember seeing these signs in my town, mentioning something about, these vaguely written signs hanging up at the entrance and exits of our town. And I never really understood what they were talking about. But now that you've given me this video to think about, it makes sense now. So I think a lot of people are, the more they dig into like the behaviors and the mentalities of where they live, they start understanding like, oh, well, this has been this way for this long. I get it now.
So can I ask you a question, Mimi?
Yeah, of course.
You being you don't speak for all Caucasian people.
No,
all of the people from the Caucasus Mountain. But
no.
But so, and what? Honest question here though. You grew up in a small town.
I mean, yeah, kind of.
You grew up in a small town.
I grew up in a town. I grew up in a place that was large, but not super duper.
The biggest city in that area.
Yeah.
But like that ain't.
But not
too
widely
much.
as diverse as it is here.
Oh, okay.
So I grew up in a place that's not here, but also not like I live in a place where there's no stoplights. Not like that.
Yeah, no, okay.
Not like that.
You didn't grow up in
an
Mayberry.
Actual sundown town.
Or an actual sundown town. Yeah.
But so
Mayberry had to be a sundown town.
They still play that.
It's funny because like that's one of them shows, an Andy Griffith show that my dad grew up on. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he black. You know what I'm saying? Like he grew up on that.
They still
he
play
listened
that
to
down
Andy
there.
Williams at
I
Christmas.
Bet they do.
I
bet they do.
Played it, and will get pushback if they took it off. Pushback.
Yeah.
It's in black and white and everything. But what the question I was going to ask Mimi is that there's no delicate way of asking this.
Oh God,
it's about to be fun.
But so.
He's even smiling. I'm so nervous.
No, because it's one of those situations where it's like, and I know not necessarily fear, right? But with regards to black people, like I'm within like, so you're in your family. Not everybody thinks and feels the same way.
No, they don't.
And for you, where did you find? Because like I said, you weren't exposed to a lot of different cultures where you're from.
Right.
So where did you find your balance here? Because I feel like it would, especially people. Let's even take it to our community. You grew up in PG County. There are not a lot of white people there.
No.
So it makes it a lot easier to then have a lot of skepticism when it comes down to white people in their intentions and who they are and what they're about. That's just empirical fact. We've had to tell a couple of our people that you're cool.
Mainly you've told me that. You're like, I've had to go to bat for you like a few times.
I have.
Yeah.
So is that the same sort of thing here? Like they see you just not necessarily to your family members, but is it a situation? Do you have to be like, no, they're fine? Like
I don't for your safety when you see you between us, like
between two black people.
Like if are there anybody taking screenshots of both of us making stern faces, looking this way while you talking? Like is any of that kind of stuff happening?
No, I can honestly say no one's ever come up to me and have been like expressing concerns about my safety. Like it's never. No, I've never honestly I've never. And besides, you met my mom and my sister.
No, but
they
see,
think
okay,
they
wait.
think you're adorable.
But no, but okay. we all come in with our own racial biases and
Of
racial
course.
stuff going on.
Of course.
And that doesn't mean we're racist. It just means that we have certain things built in.
We are prejudiced.
Yes.
And
based
there's
off
nothing
of-
wrong with being prejudiced because prejudice can always change once you learn and grow beyond it.
Yeah, prejudice is the thing that like happens before like whatever the fuck comes out your mouth comes out your mouth. Like the prejudice comes and then you're supposed to be like, oh shit, that's not right.
Yeah.
And
Like
then
prejudice
continue.
happens when you have information based on like historical, like empirical evidence, quote unquote,
Yeah.
of like either a situation or a group of people until you get involved with that situation or group of people and either it's proven right or it's proven wrong.
A lot of times like racism, like one form of racism is like that filter not being there, so the prejudice like just goes straight out your mouth, and it's usually some dumb shit.
Yeah, because
You
you
know,
don't know any
yeah,
better,
yeah.
and that's why I don't mind people being prejudiced towards me, thinking that I'm like inherently thinking I might be racist, because obviously the evidence supports the fact that statistically speaking, folks who look like me in the past have had a real big problem with people who don't look like me. So I don't take offense to it when someone like who doesn't know me, who's never had a conversation with me, looks at me and goes, "Oh, a white girl. She probably thinks blah 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 blah."
Yeah, because like I ain't
And
gonna
that's
lie,
fair.
like, we
I
doing
don't
that
get-
shit all the time.
but I don't get mad at
looking
that.
at white people in public, be like, oh, he look racist as shit. And then
Yeah.
just
And
keep
it's not
moving
and
shit.
it's not cool because it's
Isn't
not
that like a protection mechanism,
It
though?
can
like,
be, yes.
Prejudice. To be honest.
Yeah, to be
Unfortunately.
prejudiced is to have a sense of self-preservation in a way, because especially if you're talking about something where a group of people or a situation could potentially be dangerous to your safety. That's the thing. It's like prejudice isn't always inherently bad for the sake of being bad. Sometimes prejudice has to do with survival. But when it comes to like
Isn't
just-
the inverse can be true for like white people feeling about black people? Like their safety could be in danger. So
it goes across. I'm not talking about one group. I'm talking about all groups toward all other
Okay.
groups.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
just because I'm white and you guys are black,
Have you ever experienced that?
someone being prejudiced towards me.
No. Have you ever looked at a situation and been like, I'm the only white face here. There are a group of black people here or a group of black guys here. I'm a little nervous. Have you ever felt that way? I mean, honestly? Because it wasn't like maybe whenever I first came over from PG and I went into Virginia, I was a little nervous. Because being the only black person amongst a sea of white people, that's a culture shock. But have you ever been like a little nervous to be like,
Not so much. Well, okay, so not in the sense of I've been in a like huge group of like black men and thought, man, this is probably not the best place for me. It's usually my experience, at least here in having moved down here, has been me being one or a very small number of white people amongst a sea of Latinos. And it's not so much a sense of fear, but it's a sense of I don't want to screw this up. Like I don't want to say or do the wrong thing to offend somebody.
It's so easy sometimes, right?
Right, because
Like,
I
or at least that's your mindset.
yeah,
like,
because I'm sure it's
I
like,
could easily fuck all of this up.
and I wouldn't, and I, so meeting like my husband's family, or me, even Daniela and her brother, and meeting all of their family, like us hanging out and stuff. Like Daniela, she will tell you she was skeeved out by white people until she met me. She did not have a good view of white people until she met me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so, and I get it, like, because historically speaking, especially in this country, we've not done good things to people who aren't white.
so what you're saying is like you feel like the opposite of like we have a mistrust and you have a feeling of I don't want to be considered. One of
Last
the
week
bad
you were like,
ones.
Mimi became woke this year. Like that's wokeness. That's being aware of the fact that like things are what they are. So like I gotta be mindful of everything I'm doing for real. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? And I gotta like I know I'm not. I gotta show these people that like
That I'm not dangerous.
exactly. Yeah.
Honestly, at its core, I have always, I guess especially since I have become so incredibly woke. I have wanted to make it my personal mission in as many ways as I can to prove to people of color of all kinds in the BIPOC community that I'm not a danger. I'm not a threat.
Sorry, it's BIPOC is such a woke term.
Oh, sorry. Well, it's just easier to say than,
Yeah,
than the
yeah,
whole
it's just
the whole
so
thing.
woke.
Do your thing.
So
Just
it's a
people of
very that's what I said. It's very woke.
But because I know what my skin tone represents to so many people. I know what looking at me I know that looking at me for some people can actually be very frightening.
Trigger.
And especially because I'm a white woman, because there's the Karen wave is still quite strong, and I need to be that one person in a group.
If you had like a little more length on the front.
If I had a little bit more layering in the back and like the highlights, the strong
highlights.
Yeah, no, I am well aware.
You'd be up in an Apple store talking
I'd be
about.
like, I want to speak to your manager.
Wait, have you ever?
What do you mean?
Have you ever
told
felt
me.
that way? Have you ever?
I want to speak to your manager.
Yeah, have you ever? Because I always feel
You
like
ever
there's
done
a
some
sense
Karen
of like,
shit?
yeah,
like, just cause
really,
fuck, I don't want to
really
do this,
entitled.
but like I got to.
Yeah, be like, I'm not really satisfied with what's going on right here. Can I speak? Have you ever been like that? Because I always feel like there's like an audacity that comes along.
See, the thing about it is like, you know, everybody everybody's had an experience. You know what I'm saying? Where they just had to like be the asshole when it sucked. But like, you know.
But I feel like there's more of an entitlement versus
that's the whole point of it. Yeah.
Because like I feel like black people have to weigh it out. How much do I want to
how
put?
butt can I get in this junk without like either getting in trouble or some shit like?
And then if you're white, you don't even have to think about it. You're like, wait, what's going on here? My frozen matcha is not.
You remember that scene in Undercover Brother where he was in the department store getting angry at the front and the little speaker went off like, angry black man in aisle 4 because he started yelling. He didn't even yell. He just said one thing like out of line and shit, and they was immediately like, whoa.
I can honestly say no because I don't live with the idea that people owe me shit.
Okay.
Like I don't understand that mentality of, you know, I exist so therefore you owe me, and it's like why do I owe you, and what do I owe you exactly? Like so like the only thing I think I can think of is I returned a salad one time at a restaurant because they put a shit ton of onions on it, and I was like I'm gonna pick out 50% of this salad and not even get to eat it. So that's all I got.
Oh, that's a light week.
I mean that's what
you haven't full Karen.
No, I've never had to full Karen. And nor would I want to because I don't think it actually solves anything.
Never go full Karen.
There's no reason to go full Karen.
I guess, you know, with us, like, because, you know, there's something similar that we do. It's just not called full Karen, and it carries a little bit of a different weight. You know what I'm saying?
Because
like,
we're seen as scarier. But
exactly.
I feel like it happens more. But you see it happen more where people, especially like in the service, in our industry.
Mm-hmm.
I guess what I'm saying is I've had to do the same exact thing for like different reasons and to get a different result. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've had to like get loud about something because somebody was like fucking up service or whatever. I can't think of a good example right now. You know what I mean? But I had to like put my foot down and be like, hey, like, what's up? Can we get this done?
But everyone does it. It's just seen as more aggressive when another group of people
and that's what I'm saying. Like,
I've had to be a counter Karen.
That's fun.
I've had to be a counter Karen.
Have you had a counter Karen for like one of your own folks? You know what I'm saying? Like somebody you with that was having a full Karen tantrum, and you had to like.
No.
My mom. Oh, sorry. Shout outs, mom. But yo, she be swearing I could whoop everybody's ass. I'm like, yo, can you just chill out? Like, it's not that serious. We can literally just walk out the store and just everything be fine. But like, you gotta go like burn down everything.
Yeah.
You're like, what? You coming at me? My son's right here. I'm like, why do I?
Nah, yo, that's foul.
No, I had to be a counter Karen to a white dude one time.
Go ahead.
Oh damn, what do you do?
Oh, and I was working at KFC. I was a teenager, mind you, with this. That was my first job I ever had.
You were manager there, right?
Of course. Not too long after I started working, I became a shift manager. I mean, not like a manager, but a shift, like a shift supervisor.
She was in some sort of authority.
Yeah, and I
had to let your sister go once.
Oh my God.
God. Like
I almost had to.
story.
She almost whooped someone's ass. But anyway,
Okay.
that was Stevie. I still think about you in that scenario, and I'm so sorry she used you to dent the chicken warmer. I'm so sorry. But anyway,
what?
That's a story for another day. No, I was working at a KFC, and I was.
Man, white people ghetto. Yeah.
Oh man. Here's the thing. I've never seen my sister in a fight, but I guarantee she would hold her own and fuck someone up. You haven't met her, but I mean, man, my sister could do some damage before she may get taken down, but she will do some damage before the day is done.
She's nice. She's a nice lady. I don't know why you
She's
didn't
so
want me to be
sweet
there.
up until you piss her off.
Yeah,
She goes from 0 to 60, and it's a frightening and an impressive thing to see. Anyway, it was we were it was like a closing shift, and I was working the drive-through. I had one person working up front for the cashier, and I had one of my chicken fryer guys left, and there might have been someone who was cleaning up the lobby before they were getting ready to leave. But this guy came through the drive-through, and it was maybe 30-ish minutes before we were getting ready to close, maybe 45 minutes. And so we had just pulled up our last round of chicken for the night, and he came through and he ordered a 16-piece meal. I remember this, extra crispy, and he wanted the mashed potatoes and the gravy and the coleslaw. I remember that. And he was like, he did his order, came to the window, paid. I gave him his food because I packed it myself, and everything was fresh because we had just pulled up that round of chicken. He got his stuff and he left.
You were the runner for it, yeah.
What?
They call it at McDonald's. They call it a runner.
Yeah, I was doing many things that evening. But so 15-ish minutes later, maybe, this guy comes walking back into the lobby with an empty bag in his hand, and he wants to talk to a manager. So obviously that was me. So I walk up and I'm like, "Oh, hey, what's wrong? Did we forget something in your meal?" And he's like, No, I just wanted you to know that my food was soggy when I got home. And I'm like, "You've been gone only 15 minutes. That was a fresh round of chicken. There's no way that your food got soggy that fast." But anyway, he's like, "Yeah, so I want a full meal replacement." And I'm like, "Okay, well, can I get your receipt?" "Well, I don't have a receipt." "Okay, well, let me go and have the meal so I can replace the food for fresh food." "Well, I don't have it. We ate it all." And I'm like, "All right, sir, I can't replace your meal without a receipt or the actual food. I'm not giving out free food. That's against our policy."
Why would you even, you know what?
The audacity. Because just the audacity.
Yeah, that's what this story's
And he
about.
may or may not have been slightly intoxicated at this point. And so he basically starts raising a stink because this little teenage girl is telling a full grown-ass man no, basically. And essentially ends his little tirade with, "Well, I bet if I come across that counter and get my own food, you aren't going to stop me, are you?" And I'm like, I'm not. And then at about this time, my chicken fryer comes up, and Jason, big, tall, sweet-faced Jason, but he was just this mountain of a kid. Still had his, like, bloody apron on from when he was doing the chicken stuff, had a knife in his hand, walking up with his hands folded across his chest, and he's like, "Megan, is there a problem?" And I'm like, "No, Jason, no, there's not. This gentleman was just getting ready to leave." And, of course, the guy throws up his hands and curses, and "I'm never coming back here," and blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, "You have a great night, sir. Bye now."
Those interactions are always just so...
And I'm just like, what the... Are you serious? Like, chicken. You had a full meal. And
Like,
you wanted more shit for free.
They ate that joint, and
All
then
of it.
it was like, "Yo,
And
our
because-
food was soggy
And
because it's in my
they
stomach
saw,
now."
Because he saw what he saw was a weaker individual who he thought he could push and bully,
Yeah,
was not expecting to be like stonewalled, threw a fit.
yeah.
So I had to basically put my big girl hat on and tell him basically, "No, I'm sorry. That's just, you can bitch and moan all you want, but you're not getting shit for free. That's just not going to work."
Sound about right to me.
Speaking of, and like I said, as far as major topics, that was it. But just for fun,
Yeah.
for shits and giggles.
Because, you know, we put the sugar at the end now.
Yeah, we put the sugar at the end. So this is a good sugar story.
Yeah.
I got permission from Mimi, so it's cool.
Oh, boy.
So you haven't heard this story, Wally?
Oh, shit.
Oh, I was hoping you'd forgotten this.
No.
one.
It's going to be good.
So we were
Don't think less of me.
okay. So we were one of these days. I was just chilling, and it was like in the break room. Mimi comes over to me with a serious face, and I was like, and she has like a serious tone too, right? She's like, I need to ask you a question. And I was like, "Oh, well, okay." You know, because like I said, you know, Mimi, normally she's kind of cool and relaxed,
Yeah.
but she was very serious face. "I need to ask you a question."
All right, let me turn this off. I'm being an asshole. We was on live, and like that's...
Wait, what?
Thanks for letting us know, Will. I mean, Jada.
You know you can't do that.
No, you can't do that, right?
Yeah,
no,
go.
so she's like, "Let me ask you a question, okay? It's better if I just write it down." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So she writes down the word ASK. How do you say this? And I was like, at that time, I'm going to be honest with you, Wally, it didn't occur in my head that black people say this one way and white people say it another way. So I was like, asked. And she's like, she gives me this look in a very serious tone. She's like, no, it's not like that. It's ask. Have you ever seen Dangerous Minds?
I don't think so.
Well, you know that movie with Michelle Pfeiffer in it?
Yeah. Back in
Yeah. So I felt saved in that moment because she taught me how to say a word. She saved me as a underprivileged black man. She let me know.
White savior.
Yes.
Oh my God! You never wanted to be one, and you just are.
It was amazing. Like no,
I want to die.
no.
Not to be dramatic, but I want to die. This bitch got me.
Saying ask.
No, but it was. No, to be honest, your tone was serious.
It was because
It was.
yes.
Because I realized how that could come off like I'm going for dramatic effect. It was a serious tone.
Yeah,
She was very much like, I know you people say it. No, she's saying.
You are not.
No, she didn't do that. She didn't do that.
No.
She didn't do that. But she's like, I noticed that a lot of people say asked instead of ask. So I was just like, I hadn't even picked up on it, but I guess I was like, yeah, I guess we do. But, you know, it was just funny that it was like, I didn't know if I was the only person she saved that day, but I just know that I was approached. So I just was like, I just wanted to share that story because, in you know, in hopes that she can save other souls.
You know what? Another funny.
I hate you so much.
Another really funny intersection here is like,
oh my God.
you know, the black kids, the black people who don't say ask and say ask, and like used to sit in class in like kindergarten, first grade, and wonder why the teacher was saying ask, but it's spelled ASK.
And that's what and you failed to bring
But
up the rest of that.
I was in kindergarten and first grade though, so I didn't get what was going on yet. But, you know, as I learned what was going on, you know, I just, you know, fuck it.
But you failed to bring up the rest of that conversation because I asked you then, like, I don't, like, if you know how it's spelled, why do you say it differently than how you spell it? And I don't think you actually ever gave me an answer.
There is none.
There is none. That's why there was no answer. But that's why that video was so funny earlier that I said to you guys when the dude was in the closet and he was like, what color are you? And he was like, I'm white. And then like the dude, because he's calling the cops for the cops to come, and he's like, so how do you say ask? And he's like, yeah. That's why. And that's what made me think of the time where Mimi saved me.
Yeah, because you gotta stop with that. It was literally a curiosity because no, it was always like an understood thing, but no one ever explained to me why that is what it is. Like I didn't know if it was an Ebonics thing.
It's kind of like how people from Baltimore say hot dig.
Hot dig.
Yeah, hot dig.
And listen to 92 key.
And when they ask you for a cigarette, they be like, hey, yo, let me get a fug, yo.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
You never heard Baltimore people talk?
To be fair,
that's the thing. That's the other thing, yo.
I don't frequent Baltimore that much.
We gotta talk about the differences between like accents among different races of people in different areas. Because like there are white people here who swear that like there's no like accent, but if you black, oh my God, like everybody thinks we talk weird as shit. If, like if you from like PG DC, like the DMV area,
yeah,
black people from other places think we talk really weird. Like we have a bunch of real weird slang and the way we say some of our words, kind of the same way we be talking about people from Baltimore, even though it's real similar. But yeah, like I've seen forums like where it's like a complete split. Like all the white people are like, yeah, there's no like regional dialect or accent because a lot of people are transplants.
Well,
and then all the black people are like,
that's stupid.
The fuck you talking about, Mo? Shit. Slim, you lunching though.
And then there are other people be like, what did he just say?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What happened? Who's launching off of what? What's going on?
You said at your proper level.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You took all of the soul out of that. I love it.
That's hilarious, yo.
You
But yeah,
Taylor Swifted the hell out of that.
I
Go ahead.
asked that question because I literally wanted to learn. I wanted to
You just
understand.
ain't know.
It wasn't
Sometimes you
like
gotta
a-
ask, yo.
It wasn't like a you poor, underprivileged, uneducated, left behind child. Let
Left
me help you.
He
behind.
doesn't even have all his hair anymore.
I mean, Jesus, give
All right,
this
what
man
did
a break.
what did that have to do with anything? That was a straight.
So
down.
for me,
Yeah,
it
my
was
bad, yo.
for me it was I wanted to learn. I wanted to understand like if there
Yeah.
was like some kind of understood origin to it that I didn't know.
No,
I
but it
s-
wasn't brought up that way. It was brought up in a very serious, very like.
That's one of them. So we were just talking a few minutes
I
ago
didn't wanna
about
sound condescending.
being
Oh,
being that
yeah,
white
yeah.
person that doesn't want to like, you know what I'm saying? Like be that white person. So like you gotta go about it real carefully. And I think that's why the third grade note fast happened. Like, I gotta ask you something, but I don't know how to do it. Like,
Yeah.
and I get that.
Because I didn't want to come across as like condescending or anything like that.
Especially given what the actual origin or answer is, which is like nothing. That's just how people be talking.
That's how
Right.
people
Like
talk.
yeah, like
Like-
especially because that's the answer.
I'm sure some linguist expert somewhere will be like, well, when the Afro was learning the English language,
The Afro.
Holy shit!
they were taught they were taught these different dialects, and of course, as language is always an evolving thing, it fell into the dialect of the black man. And it's like I'm sure there's some Harvard educated Yahoo out there that probably has that in a thesis paper or something. I'm sure that's a thing somewhere. I apologize if I just offended our entire
That's
audience.
getting clipped.
That shit staying in there. That shit was hilarious.
That's getting
She
clipped.
said
That's
the
Afro.
Afro. Nah, cause like
No, they do that.
that's like
They
one of
get-
the and there was a transition like just amongst like all mediums where like they went from referring to black people as Negroes
Negro
to
and-
like black and other stuff like
Or
that. And
Afro-American.
they had to kind of
Afro-American.
try out a bunch of terms and like Afro is
It's like
I was like, why are you describing a hairstyle as a group of people? That's what I'm saying. When you try to describe a lot of people without being offensive, it's like they strangely get more offensive.
yeah, because
Yeah.
there's like no real, there don't be no right way to say it. and
there's
shit.
no cookie cutter way to
And
say
that's
it.
why like it's just it's been totally acceptable. Well, I don't know if it's been acceptable. I don't give a fuck about it. But when I have something to say about like white people and I say white people be doing this, everybody usually generally understands that I'm talking about the white people that be doing that.
But yeah, it wasn't that it wasn't like when you describe a bunch of white women, it was like the Rachel haircut. It wasn't like
Yeah.
it wasn't that. But yeah, no, that's funny. Do you have a word?
I do, yes.
Okay, yeah, let's do that because we about to get.
Let's
Yes,
wrap
wrap
this
this
train wreck
baby.
up. My God.
No, that's great sugar right there.
Yeah, that was funny. Good stuff.
The word of the week. Jesus Christ. Can it just be X? No, because we did A last week.
Go ask your mother,
Right. The word of the week is bodacious.
dude. Oh, bro.
Isn't it like bold or something?
No.
No.
Bodacious is like. Never mind. I was about to say another form of bold. Like
See, everyone has an understanding of what bodacious means.
Nobody knows what the actual word means.
But
Doesn't it mean
the-
like actually mean like grotesque or some shit?
No,
like,
no,
What does it
no.
mean?
The word bodacious is excellent, admirable, or attractive.
Oh.
Bodacious.
Or audacious in a way considered admirable. So it's something that's it's another way to say like awesome.
Yeah,
Bodacious
okay,
is
okay.
essentially like awesome or
Cool.
great.
So
or,
it does mean what people be. It means.
Yeah.
Exactly
It means
that.
it, but it's like
Yeah.
you say, it's so general that you would. Yeah.
It's
When
definitely
Pauly Shore
it's
was
definitely
saying
an
it, it was-
informal slang thing. But
Yeah,
bodacious, admirable, or attractive.
Hopefully, everybody learned a lot today,
Yeah.
and through some of the dialogue, I really liked this episode. And
You are really hitting the leg of that table, aren't you?
oh yeah, me, Mike's
At
everywhere.
least he's not covering up his face.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I'll get it together. Work in progress. How's the thick mic going that I gave you?
He just couldn't leave it alone.
He's talking to me.
He's talking to you. He's not talking to me. He hasn't given me a
What
thick
did you say
anything.
again?
The mic I gave you last week. How's it?
How's the mic? The
Yeah.
microphone?
Yeah.
It works pretty well, yo. I like it. You know what I'm saying? I did a little. I didn't really get much done this week, but I tested it out a little bit. It's going. Yeah. Also, I'm having Jew over later this month, and we're gonna get some music done.
Sweet.
It's gonna be fun. Yeah. But yeah.
We have to have like a theme song with all of us.
Yeah, we do. We definitely.
Mimi on the hook singing.
I'll play the cowbell.
More cowbell.
More cowbell.
But I hate Will Ferrell, and then like you just be whatever.
Don't. I've tried for years to try to understand it. She gets all the references. She just hates them.
It's not I just don't find him funny.
Okay.
I just don't find him funny.
But it's gonna be great. You singing the hook, and me and Wally giving them the 16s. Yeah,
Cowbell. Cowbell.
Nah, we should have Mimi spit the verse, and I'm gonna sing the hook. That's gonna be shit.
Oh, that's gonna really screw their mind up, like a City High kind of thing. Like that's gonna be crazy. Yeah,
You're
Lauryn
putting a
Hill.
lot of faith in me.
Yeah, I put a lot of faith behind that.
Mm-mm.
There's no limits on you. We've already established that you have 13. The brand is strong over there. You got 13,000 strong on your TikTok.
Well, not
You're in a different space.
not quite.
I can't even go live with you. You're just in a different space.
Well, then hurry up.
All right.
Then hurry up. Anyway, we hope you guys have a fantastic week this week. Stay warm, stay safe, no matter where you are. If there's going to be weather, just be smart. And we'll see you next time.
Alrighty. Have a good day.